If you do have a more accurate baseline, you can then predict that or extrapolate into the future with more accuracy and more certainty. Now, let's be fair, when we are looking at the future, we're also using a crystal ball. We're making a variety of assumptions which may or may not happen. But by painting different scenarios, we can give decision makers a clear view on what might happen and support target setting. At the moment, it's still an early stage. We're seeing divergent responses in the market, but typically lenders might say, we're going to set a really aggressive climate target. They'll come up with some big number. We're going to decarbonize by 60% by 2030. They haven't necessarily done the homework to assess what does that look like? What other factors need to be involved? What's determining the impact of say, macro factors like the national grid or the rate of house building or the residual impact of housing stock improvements anyway? Other lenders may be more cognizant of these things, and it leads them to err on the side of caution. They're not confident in these policy commitments, and therefore they set much smaller targets or refuse to set a target because they don't want to be on the hook for something which they can't control. The benefit of this approach is multiple, therefore. So first of all, you can paint different scenarios. You can get a clearer read on what might happen next. You can therefore set more robust targets. But secondly, and perhaps equally as importantly, you can also be very clear what the dependencies in that plan are. Heather mentioned at the start of this call, ministers are saying to her, can mortgage lenders just write more checks? Can you write more loans, more green mortgages? And it really is not that simple. The benefit of planning in this way is it clearly articulates to government what their role in this process is. So if a lender is to achieve a certain energy efficiency target, if a lender is to decarbonize by a certain point along that road to net zero, this allows them to be clear that not every single thing that needs to happen sits within their control. So whether it's better support for national grid, whether it's an increase in home building and a proper future home standard which guarantees heat pumps and solar as part of the original build plan, whether it's an increase in the improvements of UK housing stock, this approach allows you to basically push those targets back up towards government and say, we'll do our bit as long as you do yours.